If y'all could see what I'm doing. Wasn't really late, but a few minutes. I was messing with some stuff here. So, getting this set up. I didn't advertise us exactly. And somebody left me a comment on an old video. And so I decided to watch the old video. That was interesting um, because I don't do that a whole lot, watching the old videos. I should go through the old videos and make new videos out of them. I'm concerned that if I leave the phone on this stool, that we will lose signal. I always have these concerns because of where I live. Wouldn't it be nice if one of the newer internet provider companies, Satellite, would sponsor me? That would be like fantabulous. Don't know if it could happen. Have not asked. But, not like I get a lot of anything. I never have made much money on YouTube. I just saw recently where somebody else said, if you've got 6,500 followers, you should be making about $300 a month. Yeah, in what world? Because I've never seen that kind of money. Ever. Ever. If I got $300 in a year. So, what's that all about? Okay. Okay, people are starting to come out. Oh, you know what? I didn't do my all messages. Now, guys, please remember that on my channel we do 3 uppercase Qs so that I will read your comment and discuss it. And either your comments or your questions. And they can be questions about anything that's relevant to my channel. So basically, that would be anything from disability to nomad life to round the world travel to minimalism to homesteading. Been there, done that. Don't really want to homestead per se. Living a camping lifestyle for years. Off grid living. My hair is weird to me this morning. Look at how it looks square to me, but it's been braided for a while, and I was debating whether to rebraid it, and then I decided not to. Anyway. What else didn't I mention? We're probably going to have a guy come out today that had been asking me questions and comments. And I told him it would be easier if he came out and asked me out here. So use your 3 uppercase Qs in front of your questions, comments, whatever you want me to read, and we'll go from there. Yes, I even talk about health things like carnivore diet, and now that I am changing and moving away from a strict carnivore diet to something else, I can talk about that. Can't Beth get messages to open up to type? Well, I don't know the answer there. Um, yeah, I know it's you. I'm aware it's you. But you should have the same access you've always had or better. So I don't know. Chat filter. Got that. Community moderation. I don't have any other choices. What's this one? Nope. Hmm. I don't, yeah. I don't see any. What is that? Oh, I don't know the answer, Beth. I thought we had this pretty well set up. Anyways, it's 14 people and 3 thumbs up. Um, we're just getting started, guys. So, look, I want to go grab my coffee. Um, and I don't know what else I've talked about. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Beth. But you know what? We'll maneuver, and you can help me maneuver still, no matter what. I don't know what the I don't know what's going on. And I hope that they're not gonna force me, I don't think they will, to have a computer. I mean, remember I had one once and it was kind of nice sometimes, but because I didn't have consistent internet, I couldn't maneuver it. And so not having consistent signal and not having consistent internet really can limit what you do. Um, but at the same time, my whole life's about different kinds of limits. Um, I loved my round the world travel life. I've loved a lot of I've had a lot of different chapters in my life, and I've loved many of them. And I've had some awkward things happen, and some of those things you guys know about. Some of them you don't. Um, but I've been going through. Whoa, I've been going through some kind of transition lately again, and I'm kind of feeling like it's maybe gonna change, maybe kind of soon. I don't know. Okay, I'm not asking what you did, um, because the way that looks is like, oops, I did blah, 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 which is like me. Don't touch the phone or we'll lose a signal. I want to grab this coffee, guys. Baby, why are you barking? How about you go out in the backyard? You want to go in the backyard? Come on, go in the backyard. Okay. I hope I didn't look in a big mirror today as I'm walking around. That's all right. Oh, I've had some really odd pain. And I've gained weight again, which I'm disappointed in. And yet it feels like I've been any control over it. Because I kind of haven't. Anyway, um, switching from carnivore to a more affordable, easier to store foods. Um, and the fact that that then brings in what the world calls carbs, right? That's been a whole roller coaster ride. And I found some guidance on it through one of Dave Asprey's um, videos this week. And it's things I've done in the past. And so I'm probably going to go back and revisit some of those thoughts and ideas. I've been trying to see if I could live with rice and beans because I do okay with rice, but I haven't figured out how often in a week I can do okay with rice. Um, but then I started having horrible gas, and I was like, okay, I healed up so much stuff. What is going on? Why is this so hard? And if I'm going to do what I call biblical eating, how am I going to do this? Anyway, oh, by the way, my new, is that hair? My new favorite mug is wooden. Mm, love it. And that Costa Rican coffee is pretty good. Um, please like and subscribe if you're interested in the things I discuss or talk about. Um, in order for me to read your comment out loud and for me to then comment on it or answer your question, you need to put 3 uppercase Q's first, and or donate through super thanks. That's the way that works. And anyway, so let's see. Let's start off talking about some of the staying warm when you're camping in the winter camping warmth. Let's talk about some of that first. I was on a private chat with Bernie earlier, and she was very surprised and talking about how she had a memory foam mattress and she didn't know. All right, what do we got going on here? I'm afraid. Do I move it closer to the window? Let's try not to knock everything off the little table and move it up here. Maybe the signal will stay better. Let's do this. Okay. Let's try this. Whoops. Because the phone is buffering. All right. Let's try it closer to the window. Turn this chair around so I can sit. So I've been having I have very, very long, like historic hair. Okay, it's not as, my hair has been ankle length a lot in my life. I'm currently trying to decide, because some of this old dark color was a chemical dye I let somebody do years ago. I was down in Yuma and somebody was like, let me play with your hair. And I was like, yeah, sure, okay. And then I was like, afterwards, I was like, I never should have let him do it. But anyways, I've been considering cutting this off and getting rid of that part. Like, whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, let's hope. Hey, Judith Lawrence is out here. Who else is out here? I don't know who else is out here. I'm trying not to knock some stuff off on the table, but there we go. All right, that should be better. Okay, so you know that I go through off and on depression. Well, a lot of you guys out here this morning won't know me. So because of the way I have the chat set up. But anyways, okay, so we were talking about warmth. For those of you who are unaware, memory foam mattresses freeze in cold weather. They will get stiff, solid, frozen in cold weather. I don't think that they're worth the time, effort, and money. Now, you do you, but not everything that's new works well, in my humble opinion. So I will tell you what I believe to be the best solution, and yet in my world, I haven't been able to afford that best solution yet. Okay? absolute best thing to lay on to sleep for warmth are animal hides. The absolute best. So, Leanna, hi. Slight buffering, thumbs up, yes, move. I moved it. So I think this move is, this area is better. Uh, okay. So yeah, the very, very best thing to lay on top of for warmth, animal hides. And the correct animal hide for where you're at. That's something you have to kind of learn. And it's not that there's a wrong animal hide, but like, for example, if you were in, I don't know, I'm going to just, if you were in a place with severe cold, like maybe Siberia, or maybe Mongolia, or maybe Montana, look it up, research it for yourself. But an animal hide that would be better for an area like that would be something like a buffalo hide. Okay. In some other areas, you might be fine with a sheepskin hide, right? But all of them, they have a natural breathability and warmth that comes with them. So if they were your first layer and then your body's on top of that, you're going to be way way better. I just saw Leanna's hearts and hearts. Thank you, Leanna. Love you. Thank you for coming out. So yeah, so animal hides would be the warmest, preferred, better. And then the old information from the scouts, and what I'm talking about with scouts for younger, newer people, are like the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts organizations used to have good information. And their information stated that you put 3/4 of your warm stuff under your body and 1/4 of stuff over the top of your body in order to stay warm. And that was the way you layered your bedding. If you were laying on the ground, if you were sleeping in a car, it didn't matter. And so that's another good piece of information. So you want to put quite a bit under you. And if you can afford it, use some animal hides. You will be the warmest. Now, if you can't afford that, like I have not been able to, or if you're hiking and you can't carry it, then options that are less expensive and useful and work are, in my humble opinion, a Z-fold closed cell foam mattress. You can get them at Walmart for about $25 the last I checked. You can buy them online. If you buy the brands like Thermarest, Z-Rest, that are available for ultralight hikers, the width, the size of the piece will be smaller. I just ran into something with my own bed in the last couple of weeks, and I didn't even realize I had done that to myself. So I tried to change my bedding and ran into a glitch, and then realized that's not the way to go. In my minimalist sense, that is not the way to go. So anyways, so those Z-Rest, if I step over here and take my bed apart for you guys, I can show you. Okay. So bear with me. Let me walk behind me. That sofa bed, it's actually a a day bed for a patio. It's made for going by a pool. And I don't know why. I thought it was 25 wide by 72 inches long. It's 70 by 22. No wonder once I had Wendy and then the cat too trying to sleep with me and they're shoving me off the bed. It's narrow. Anyway, I could show you, but bear with me while I go over there. And like I said, I did not look at me for full body video views this morning. So what you see is what you get. This is actually a twin size comforter that somebody gave me. It was brand new and it's denim and I liked it. Okay, we're not looking at that part yet. We're not looking at this part yet. Okay, this is a Walmart Z Fold. It folds up that way. Closed cell foam mattress. Put that, they always, often, always, I think. Okay, did you get that? In the summer, you put the silver side down, and you put the silver side toward your body. Then over the top of it, I need to take these tags off. I bought this little camp pad that's made for putting on a cot. It's not very thick, but it has rubberized bumps to keep it from sliding and elastic cords on the corners. So then that, for me, that goes over the top of this, unless I'm hiking. Now, if I'm hiking, I would have an air mattress with a good R value, like a Nemo, a Sea Summit, or a Thermarest. But the reason I don't have those, I have a kitty that's not a year old yet, and Claus would pop, $150, $200 mattress. That would not work. Oh, another brand that's good is Pariah. And another blanket. That's how I do it. It's sort of similar to how you would layer your clothes to go outside in a snowstorm. You layer your bedding in a similar way. Okay? So, all right. So, for warmth, now in vehicles, okay, how do I go about this? So, I didn't carry all that stuff with me when I was round the world traveling. I only carried a travel sheet because I knew I was either a travel sheet and a hammock, okay? I knew I was either going to sleep in a hammock or in a hostel. And I'm allergic to bed bugs and cockroaches. And so I wanted to be able to be on something as clean as possible that I could control as much as possible. So no matter where I was, I might use their pillows, but I would put my covers over it. And then I would wash the heck out of them. And I learned how to, if there was an electric dryer, put them in a dryer on very high heat, or I would put them in the very strong sunshine of some countries, and let the sun kill whatever got on them. So that's how I maneuvered quite a bit of round the world travel. Um, Long distance hiking. I also was a hammock camper at that time. And I used like the Z Rest in the hammock as my first layer. Silver up most of the time, not in Panama. In Panama, it was too hot for the silver to be up. But anyways, it gave you a nice thing to sleep on. I love sleeping in a hammock. I think that the way my body acts now, there would be days when it would be hard for me to sleep in a hammock. So I haven't had much thoughts about that kind of travel lately, but to just kind of quickly say a couple of things that I have thought about, um, I would be interested in a haven tent at this stage of my life. Because if I was having trouble with a hammock, like getting up in it or something, because I was having a bad health day, a haven tent can actually be a tent on the ground. Now, most hammocks can. You can do that with hammocks. But the reason I would go for something that's pre-made like a haven tent is because it's already got the zippered on parts. All the thinking has already been done. A flat hammock, I can't keep a snake out. I don't want to get whatever, right? It's not only snakes, but whatever. But wherever I would be, if I had to sleep on the ground, then as I could. If I was having trouble with my body not being able to do what I wanted it to do. Because there are times when in the past, I've been paralyzed 4 different times, but in the past, I didn't get a warning when I became paralyzed. And that's scary crap. So, being able to know that, well, I am struggling today to lift my leg as high as I lifted it yesterday. What's up with that? Oh, yeah. Okay, my body's doing that thing. If I give it 2 or 3 days, I'll be able to lift my leg like normal. So that's what I'm talking about. So, like, I might not be able to get in a hammock one day, but maybe a week, a few days later, I can get in there up in a hammock again. So if I can put it on the ground, it just solves the problem. And if it's already tent like, it solves the problem. Now, if I was traveling with more people or had a husband or something, then having a tent you could stand up in or move around in would be more necessary. But things like haven tents are just for one person. And my pets are small enough that if I travel with my pets in the future, then they could sleep in there with me. They sleep on the foot of the bed now. So it's no different if you're in a hammock or something that they sleep by your feet. Um, Years ago, I had seen a mosquito net tent thing that went over the top of your hammock, like on a ridge line across the top of your hammock. But it had a floor in it, so you could get out of your hammock and stand up. But part of what they were marketing it for was if you're traveling with your dog, then your dog is under your hammock with you and more secure. Sure, it's only like netting or tent material, but they're more secure. And that was a good idea. And I still like those. But there are times when my being able to maybe lift myself into a hammock isn't happening the same as it used to. So, okay. Um, so let me go back and check for uppercase Q's, which is how okay, I did Leanna's. So the next one is, I see names I'm not used to. So good morning, new people who don't know me well. Um, Oh, Iris. Hi, Iris. Your hair is quite beautiful, Lisa. Well, thank you. Um, I was talking about how when I came out, I was getting ready to braid my hair and it didn't happen. I don't know. And then I had this little funky spot. But Iris, I was talking about how recently, years ago, I was in Yuma and I let somebody dye my hair because they wanted to play with my hair. I'm thinking about cutting that off because it would be a little more manageable and a little more consistent. My hair grows so fast. I've no, I've often had ankle length hair. It grows so fast, it's not that big a deal. Um, but I've thought about just cutting it off, the part that had been dyed, and so it's more consistent. Oh, I've donated for kids wigs. That's the only time I would cut my hair was to donate. And I found in those organizations that the hair never went to the kids. It very seldom did the hair actually end up with kids with cancer. Often they were selling it for a lot of money as human hair extensions for whatever, for people who didn't like their own hair. Um, so on that winter warmth thing, then another factor in winter warmth and camping, if it's not too cold. Okay, let me preface this next little blip with, for those of you who don't know me well, I'm allergic to propane. Yeah, I know all the arguments. Just like my doctor said, doesn't matter what it is in the propane, you're allergic to it. Stay away from it. So yeah, it's not pretty. If you ever see me having trouble with propane, it's not easy. So but anyways, because I'm allergic to propane, I don't cook with it. It's not on my property at the cabin, and I don't travel with it. Now, um, occasionally, if I've been feeling really good and they're extra good days, and somebody is grilling or cooking with propane outdoors and the wind's blowing the right way, I can actually help cook and it not affect me. And by the way, the fact that propane is the thing that is heating a pot to cook something does not make it so I can't eat it. So there's all that. Okay, so just, um, but here at the cabin and when I travel with an alcohol stove. Well, yeah, I gave one away. So now I only have one. I travel with an alcohol stove. One of my alcohol stoves of choice is a Toaks titanium siphon, alcohol siphon stove. Love that thing. That thing can boil water so fast. It's faster than a jet boil. Love it. It's liquid fuel. You got to be careful. There's a careful factor. Learning curve for a lot of people. So I travel with the alcohol and my alcohol stove. I also and different pot stands. I also travel with sterno. Now I love the jelly sterno a lot, but the cans of jellied sterno generally only last about 2 hours, right? I can finagle again, but about 2 hours. And then sterno has a chafing dish fuel that is liquid with a wick, and they call it safety wick, and it's a 6 hour can. I've started having those around. They last quite a bit longer. I can do a lot of cooking on one of those. One of those 6 hour cans will last me about a week. Depends on whether I'm boiling coffee water with it or not. So, so there's that factor. Um, Now, this is all leading to more about staying warm when you're winter camping. So, because of my particular issues, I am limited on what I can have in a confined space and be okay with. So, butane is mixed with propane. I can't use butane. When the little canisters get attached to the stove and they do that little psst sound, that's enough for me to get sick and for me to be sick for days. So I stay away from all of those. Don't use them at all. See that little candle? I don't can't do it with that hand. Anyway, that candle holder, I have 3 different Yuko candle thing lanterns. That is their regular candle lantern. Like one of them's beeswax, but sometimes beeswax is a little hard for me. But the beeswax I think burns 12 hours. Okay. And then I have the little one that takes a tea light candle. And cheap tea light candles will burn 4 or 5 hours. And then they burn themselves out. The big issue with the tea light candle one, as much as I love it, tea light candles, when they start to burn, the little metal cup that they're in is full of hot liquid. So if you bump it, it's messy. I like it though, because you can put it on, and even if you fall asleep while it's on, it's pretty well contained and safe if you're careful. You got to be careful, okay? And it'll burn itself out within a short period of time. So I've learned over the years how to use these. Plus, I also have the big candle lantern that has 3 candles in it. Now, any of these, when you put them on, they're going to be bright and you can't get away from the light. So you just have to be prepared for that. You can use them in a tent. You can use them in with care. Let's say that about 70 million times. With care. It's an open flame, guys, but so are your other heat sources, Mr. Buddies and stuff like that. The one thing about candles is it's a drier heat, so you don't end up with the condensation the same. In small vehicles, I find ways, creative ways, to burn a candle in a safe candle lantern situation where it can't be bumped or knocked over. And I use that for some heat. But the real thing is keep going toward warm weather. Stay where it's warmer. And you won't need to heat as much. But I mean, I've been in my vehicles, tiny vehicles, because I prefer them, when it's been like 12 degrees, 7 degrees, one time -2, and snowing. And the candles kept me alive. Well, candles and blankets. Because if you stay in the blankets, just make sure you eat right so you don't have to go to the bathroom too much, right? But stay in the blankets. And then once the sun comes up, the sun hits your glass on your vehicle, and then the vehicle gets warm, and it starts helping you to be able to, then you can start moving around and getting up. That's not always how Lisa operates, because it was, especially those first few RTRs that you might have known me from, those first few years, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would put on a fire and a pot of coffee, make a cowboy coffee, and I would sit outside and watch the sun come up. And the first year or two, I was completely alone in my old van, the blue van, And then I got Aussie. And so then I had that. So, so let's see. So staying warm. Then another thing that helps you to stay warm is before you go to sleep, have a bite of food that has some sweet to it. Okay. What I would do now is I would do something like have a date with a chunk of butter in it or a piece of cheese in it, or I don't know. That's all I can think of right now. But I would eat a date and then maybe a date with a walnut in it, okay? And then go to sleep. In the morning when you wake up, do the same thing. Have a something. Now, back in history, people would, hikers, way back, would, when Snickers were around, they would eat half a Snicker bar before they went to bed and save the other half for when they woke up. It helps your body to keep your core warm. And so, you know you're getting too cold when you start getting brain dead. Okay? Brain fog is what they call it. But when you can't think, when you start to not be able to think. And okay, so have I given you enough about staying warm? Um, I use all of these things I've just discussed. I use them inside the cabin as well as in my vehicles, as well as when I travel. Now, depending on round the world travel kind of stuff, depending on what I am willing to put in a backpack to travel with, I would decide whether or not to carry a candle lantern. Um, the small candle lantern, that's a tea light, it's about $20. If I was traveling internationally now, I might pack one, I might not. I might just order one to be in the other country when I got there, like an Amazon order thing or something. I don't know. But it works. And the 3 candle candelier will boil water. It's not fast, but it works. So you can, okay, so I have this kind of habit of when it's cold, but not that cold, not cold enough to put the wood stove on and have a big fire. I might wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I might need to go to the bathroom. Anyways, I'll light the 3 candle candelier and put a small pot of water on it. That will heat enough water for me to make a cup of coffee when I wake up. And then I'll go back to bed because it's in a safe place. I'm pointing at the kitchenette, but it's in a safe place where it won't get knocked over. And it's a little bit of light as the sun's coming up. And then when I'm awake, it's not too cold in here. It's cool, but it's not too cold. And the water's hot for coffee, and then it's easier to do whatever you got to do next. So, okay, so that's the staying warm stuff. Let me check for uppercase Q's. Okay, I already answered all the ones I know about. You guys who are newer out here, if you want me to read your comment or question out loud and comment or answer your question, then either give me super thanks or put 3 uppercase Q's in front of your comment, and then I will answer those. So let's see. So yes, I've been struggling with my bed situation because my cat and my dog are pushing me off the bed at night. Not on purpose, they're snuggling, but it's like, and with the transition from carnivore to whatever else I'm doing, food wise, I've gained weight. And No, I don't love it, but I'm not one of those people who's gonna, bow down to a scale or oh, you're a bad person, whatever. Forget you people. I'm old enough. I'm over all that crap. Um, I like to look good. Sure, I do. I like to feel good. I'm not feeling good in this size, and I've been having trouble with my right knee and an owie kind of in my back or hip or something. I don't know. But and I thought maybe the solution would be get a bigger bed. And I ordered something and it's wrong, and so I'm in the process of returning that. I actually have had most of my money has been returned to me. But I'm in the process of returning that item. And then I was like, well, wait, if I get my food under, if I get this dietary change thing a little more figured out, my weight should go back to where it likes to be. And so I was like, all right, maybe if I'm more consistently careful with this transition in my diet, and I don't need a different bed. So maybe I'm not going to get a different bed yet. Well, who knows? But I don't think so. Right now, I'm thinking, no, just let that be what it is. Take a deep breath and be more consistent with what you're trying to do with the food. Okay, fine. And that on the minimalist side of things, I want all of my stuff to be simple and practical and aesthetically beautiful. And I mean, even my food, I want stuff to look good and I want it to taste good. I want flavor, all those kind of things. And but if I just take a deep breath, step back just a little bit, it should kind of even out. So I watched a couple of videos in the research part of why is this thing happening to me, of gaining the weight. But it's not just, I should rephrase this, because it's not just gaining weight, it's inflammation. And I know it. It's like in my joints. So I was like, well, am I choosing the wrong things as the wrong food items as I do this? I'm not eating a bunch of processed food. Yes, I have jars of Kalamata olives here. I have jasmine rice. I have some beans, black beans, pinto beans. I have dry garbanzos, lentils, some other things like that. I sometimes have canned fish, tinned fish, some people call it. Mackerel is my favorite. Anyway, looking these things over, I was like, so what's the thing? So I started doing some research on it, and I found some good, interesting things that might help. So, and they're things that I did before. So maybe I need to be doing a little more resistant starches rather than not rice and beans, but cook the rice and beans a day ahead and then have them, or pressure cook them. So I am going to look at getting a pressure cooker for camping, because the way I live is camping. And and I'm also going to start working on um, cooking a pot of rice and some beans, like like one day, so that they're there for 2 days or something, or 3 days. Refrigeration is, off and on, but it's cooler weather right now. Wow, have we got a mild winter? Wow. Some of you new people in Apache County, you do not even understand how mild a winter this is. By this time, maybe 5 years ago, we had 3 feet of snow and it stayed around for 5 weeks. So you're being blessed with a mild winter. Um, anyway, so I got I told you guys last week I got better coffee beans. And I have chosen an amount of food to be more consistent with, as far as the rice and beans part of it. So at my age, with my activity level, with the little glitches I've got, I'm going to aim for, well, I always eat about 2 meals a day, anyways. So I'm going to aim for my coffee in the morning like normal. Okay. I've returned to having a little bit of coconut milk powder in my second cup of coffee. My first cup of coffee is just black. I don't even care. But once I get to the second one, I'm being more aware of, let's do something to help my health. So let's make it, a pinch of salt, a couple of little scoops of coconut milk powder, which I might switch to MCT powder, but it's the same basic thing as coconut milk powder. Um, anyway, and then I usually eat my first meal of the day anywhere between 11 and 2 o'clock. I know it's a big span of time, but it depends on the day. And so, because I do 2 meals, okay, usually between 11 and 2, and then I want to eat again somewhere between 3 and 5 at the latest. I don't like to eat that late. I don't know why, but that's what I do. So I've decided it's going to be 2 meals, that I'm going to do about half to 3/4 cup of rice and about a 1/4 cup of beans each meal. And then with that, I can have the flavor, the vegetable, so spice, vegetable. If I want it to be soup, it can be liquidy. Um, if, like congee, or if I want black bean soup with a little bit of rice or something of that nature. Okay. So that's what I'm going to try and be consistent with that for a few weeks. I'm thinking 2 weeks to start with consistently and see what happens. But I also know me, that if I decide I want to do something a little different and switch it up, I don't want to like shoot myself in the foot by switching it up, because I like variety and change. Um, but that's where I'm aiming. Uh, so I'm probably going to skip the. I had been trying to have butter for the butyrate, but I couldn't get expensive butter. I was having to buy store bought when it was on sale. And I've decided I'm giving that to the animals for now in their food. And I'm going to, if I have something like that for the butyrate, I think that I will try to either do the MCT, which doesn't bother me, which is coconut milk. And I have powder because it's easier to manage, or coconut oil. Coconut oil tends to give me a bathroom thing faster than the coconut milk powder. Um, so I think I'll stick with either the coconut based, so the MCT, or I may try to get water buffalo ghee and see how that is. I don't really care about butter, to be honest with you. Um, so I might skip the ghee because it's expensive. Now that I'm talking about it with you guys, let's skip it because it costs too much. So let's just stick with the coconut milk powder. And when I reorder it, when I'm ready to reorder, which could be another month away, I'll try to get the bag of MCT powder itself and see if there's a difference. between it and the coconut milk powder. So I think that's the direction I'm going to go. Consistency seems to be the thing that makes the biggest changes. And even if we do them as turtle steps, y'all who follow me know what I'm talking about. It seems to make the biggest amount of difference. So rice and beans, beans and rice, lentils. So by beans, I mean lentils, chickpeas, black beans, occasionally pintos. I tried fava beans, but crap, oh wow, the gas was incredible. So we're gonna keep it simple and stick with lentils, garbanzos, and probably occasionally black beans. You know, I lived in Costa Rica in Central America a long time, and gallo pinto is a thing, and I know it well. So, and then for resistant starches, I had bought some peanut butter and wondered about trying peanut butter. Wendy, the animals love the peanut butter. Wendy is one of those dogs that does a lot of licking, and if she has anxiety, she wants to lick a lot. And so I'm going to get her one of those suction cup things that I could spread peanut butter on for her to lick. I'm going to do that for her. But I'm going to switch because I didn't have trouble with the peanut butter. But rather than have trouble and the fact that it has a lot more fat, I think what I'm going to do is switch to tiger nuts. And because it's a good resistant starch. So I'm going to switch back to tiger nuts. And I'm trying to perfect a kind of tortilla wrap that I can enjoy because I miss tortillas. And I can't have corn and I can't have, But so I found a recipe for tortilla wraps that are made out of tiger nut flour. So I'm going to work with that, see if I can't find a way to make that work. Because if I can, then that keeps it simple, keeps it manageable, not even an issue. And for those, I hear you, Wendy, but I'm not opening the door. I'm busy. When the recipes I have found said, please, with tiger nut flour, to use some arrowroot powder or tapioca flour. Tapioca flour is cassava flour, which is yuca from back in Central America. And I already have some of that. So we're going to see about me making tortillas out of that so I can have that. Because how cool to make your own rice and bean burrito, right? Or whatever. Or whatever. And, if I want a piece of meat, I'm not going to have a problem having a piece of meat. But I'm not going to go out of my way for the meat because the expense and the ability to get healthy stuff. So I'm kind of I'm messing with this a little bit. My garden, the beets are growing like gangbusters. Now, I say that they're really small. But most of them are just kind of small. And they were seeds I put in the ground years ago, but they're so happy growing. So I just make sure they have water and that they're protected from the wind a little bit. But because I wondered if I'm missing messages. Did that come up? Okay. All messages. Okay. I got nothing. So I don't know if you guys are out here talking or what. And I don't know if the guy came that wanted the information about the Apache County process I went through for getting my occupancy permit for my dry cabin. If he's here, please tell me you're here because I will answer your questions. But anyway, so on the diet sense of things, which is affecting a couple other parts of my life right now, I'm going to work on for a couple of weeks being more consistent with the amount of food that I'm going to eat the quality of that food and how I'm preparing it, and see if that stops some of the inflammation glitch. Because I mean, honestly, there's things that are happening that I know it's low, not fat. And I know people will get on and say things about, well, you weigh, X amount on a scale. You, it could be 20 pounds of poop in your body and you don't know. A scale's just lots of these things are not perfect. What's perfect? Nothing's perfect. Anyways, okay. Hang on. Wendy's scratching at the door. Yeah, and see, my knees hurt. Come on. Are you coming in, kitty? Come on, kitty. Kitty, come. There we go. We got them both. Okay. No, you stay in the house for a little bit. Yeah, I'm struggling a little with my knee and stuff. But I have been for a few days. It's been a few days, a week. It's been kind of hard. And I've tried to adjust. What? No, there's no more. It's all gone. Come here. I'm not getting up. No. You wait. Come here. You want to get on the video? So, I thought, I didn't know or remember that I had something in the pantry cabinet. Come here, please. That's what Wendy is doing right now. Can you hear her talking to me? You talk, come, let me. She won't come. Okay. She's got one thing on her mind and it's all gone. So, I was looking for something the other day and realized that I had some nori sheets here. This dog loves nori. That's what she's asking me for right now, because I'm out of her duck jerky treats. We haven't had in over a week. And we went through, come here, please. Come here, please. You talk, Mom. I'm on the video this morning. I know. And I know you love that seaweed. You love those sheets. And so yesterday, I pulled out a sheet of nori and I thought, hey, that'll be good with my rice. That would be good. And so I wrapped my rice in a nori sheet. And she's staring me down, and then she growled at me. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you want? And I tried everything. I thought she wanted outside. She didn't want outside. She wanted me to stand up. I got up, right? And then she wanted the nori sheet. So I gave her a piece. Oh, then it was on. I think she ate one. Okay, so it was the big sheets. She ate one whole sheet all by herself, which is not a lot, but and then she's begging for more. And I'm like, no, you gotta wait. So I made her wait until, I don't know, a few hours. And then she had another one before we went to bed. And then this morning she wants more. Well, I gave her one. That was the end. So this morning it's like there's no more. That's what she's asking me for. She was on the floor beside me, and she was asking me for that. You see how she licks. This is Yorkie Terrier stuff. So I'm getting her. I already have it picked out. And depending on whether I haven't talked to Catherine about it yet, but Catherine and Homer are supposed to come out and help me with a couple of things Tuesday, I think. And I don't know yet. I haven't asked her yet if they'd be able to pop by Walmart and pick up an order for me before they came or something. Or the day before or something. I'll talk to her later about it. But if we do, Walmart has one of those licky things, and I have a small jar of peanut butter here. So we could give her that ability to licky lick and it not always be my face or that tongue up my nose. Ooh. But dogs. I'm so glad I have the company of the pets. For a long time I went without, and I'm glad that I was blessed with these two silly animals. And um, Kitty, Bobby Kitty, I guess, my son's daughter wants her to be Bobby. But anyways, she calls her Bobby Paint. And I was like, why? And she said, well, her name needs to be Bobby. That's her name. And her tail looks like a paintbrush. I was like, okay. I mean, the girl's what, two and a half, something like that. But anyway, so Bobby Kitty, which is a girl kitty, has a new harness. We're working on Kitty in a harness. So when the harness first came about a week or so ago, might have been two, I just put it in her basket. She knows the basket is hers. And so the leash and the harness down in there, along with all her toys. And so if she got into sleep or went to get a toy, she got time with the harness. So she's not afraid of it. When she first saw it, she was afraid of it. Now she's not afraid of it. And yesterday she wore it for a few hours and went outside and then came back in and then she wiggled her way out of it. So, but we're working on that. If I can get her to wear a leash, wear a harness, and if I can get her to walk on a leash, then she can go with me sometimes. Anyways, so that's uh oh, Beth is saying, is that a smiley face Bobby Kitty? Yeah, Bobby Kitty. So so she's been working with her harness a little bit, and I've been doing what I just said, working with me and understanding. Like I drove to the store last week, and it took me 2 days after the store to kind of recover from going to the store. Now, that doesn't mean I couldn't do normal stuff. It was that I was stiff and extra tired. And so it seems like I just need to be a little more aware of that, and then be a little more consistent with the stop experimenting with the food so much. And I think I'll go ahead and spend the money on a camping pressure cooker for the dry beans. Um, Beth is saying, thumbs up. All of my kitties are harness and leash trained. My Nikki has traveled with me since RTR 2018. Nikki loves the truck. Isn't that great? Um, Bobby gets in the car and will ride when I do like the circle in the driveway or I'm moving the car or something. I try to get her to go in with us. But she has this tendency to want to get down under my feet, and I can't have that. So it's such a small space that I have to figure this out with her. And she's doing great. She's a good cat. But boy, she uses her claws a lot. She needs her claws if she's going to kill animals out here. So I can't clip the claws. We need that. So it's a whole thing. Um, all right. So we've talked about pets. You want to come up with Mama? Come here. You can come here. Come here, Bobby. The people want to see you. Sometimes lately, she wants to come sit with me and Wendy. Do you want to come up? But I finally figured out that sometimes when she's using her claws to touch my feet, She wants me to get up and let her out the door so she can go outside. And so I'm starting to figure out her language. Kitty, do you want to go out? Kitty, out? That's what she's doing. She wants out. Okay. Kitty, out? Oh, out in the front. You both want out front. Okay, you be careful out there. Be careful, Wendy. They're going to go hunt in the front. In the front. That sounded funny. Anyway, yeah. Hunting in the front. Yeah, I'm thinking about cutting. I've been thinking about this for a while, but cutting some of this that was dyed off. And I don't know. Oh, I'm not. I was like, flip it over and see. No, I should not flip it over and see because that would be a mess. But like see where my white hair. But some of this, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Just because I don't know. I need to change. I'm a little. I'm tired of being stuck. You know, after watching that video that somebody made a comment on last night, it was a video from where I stayed at a Lowe's in, I think it was it in Loveland or somewhere? Colorado? No, it couldn't have been Colorado. It must have been Idaho. I had trouble in Idaho because the people who invited me there invited me with an ulterior motive. And then I got there and I only got to spend one night. I was supposed to be there 2 weeks to a month. And I got one night. And it was horrible, stressful, crazy. And so so I ended up like at a Walmart. I tried to go to a church. The church wouldn't help. Senior center wouldn't help me. And I was like, look, I just need a place where it's okay for me to sleep in my vehicle until I can figure out the next step and where to go. And I ended up, oh, what is that lady's name? I can't remember if her name is Karen. She's in Texas. She's on here many Sundays. Anyways, or was it Donna? I don't remember her name. Anyways, bumped into her and she said, come stay at my place. I think she was confused at first that I wanted to sleep in my own vehicle. But I was like, no, I'm used to this. This is normal. And she just gave me a nice place where I could maneuver. And so I was able to just stay still and breathe and get my legs back under me and move on. And she was so good to me. So, but anyways, that video, it was in between the being stuck and going to her house to sleep. And seeing myself in that other situation and hearing myself, and I'm like, yeah, that's the me I've been grieving and missing. Now, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I could not maneuver the terms for what I was feeling. And I was saying, you know, depressed doesn't work. I'm not depressed. My therapist had said, well, maybe you're sad. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not sad. I don't know what it is. Well, since then, okay, so in that same phone call with my therapist has changed jobs. And so now I don't have a therapist anymore. And then I realized, wait a minute, this is grief. I'm grieving my old life. Dreams, the things I thought I was doing, they didn't work. And I'm grieving that. And I'm grieving all this away. But I think what the feeling and emotion has been is I think I've been grieving this other Death of a Dream. I wrote a poem years ago. This one was all good. Iris said, my daughter hung bells on a rope at the door. Her dog would use it to get her attention to go out. Maybe you could teach Bobby to use it instead of your feet. Yes. In fact, I was just thinking about that. Remember the bells people used to put on their doors in the 60s? But I have 2 doors. And right now, well, yesterday, Bobby meowed for me to open the door. That would be okay too. But Wendy scratches the side of the door. So I think the bells is a good idea. And so I think I'll be looking for a set. I might put a set of bells into my wish list right now because I'm just trying to maneuver this. I tried to buy a new bed and then it didn't work and getting my money back. So I might do that, just put it in a wish list and then go from there. Oh, Catherine and Homer are going to pick up a couple of things for me. I don't know where they're picking them up from. Maybe Harbor, maybe Home Depot, maybe Walmart. I'll ask about that. But they're going to pick up shelf brackets for the plank shelf that'll be out on the patio, the screen porch patio. They're going to pick up a bracket because I finally figured out what to do about the gate post that the bull messed up. Yeah, if you're new, go back a few, you'll find out about that story. That was a whole thing. Anyway, the post was in the cement and he knocked it out. So there's, a distance down in the cement. I could get the post out. So I'm going to cement in a bracket for a 4x4 and screw the 4x4 post into the bracket. That's how we're going to fix that. So that'll solve that. And I have all the stuff. I don't have the bracket. So they're going to pick up a bracket for me for the post. And some of these projects I can do by myself. But they're also picking up the wheel for my wheelbarrow. Now I'm reimbursing them all the money. Some of the items, I can't purchase them online because they're only available in the store. So because I can't purchase them online, I can't place an order and it's all prepaid. So I'm just going to reimburse them for what they're going to help me with. So let's see. So the wheel for the wheelbarrow because it got messed up. The bracket for the fence post. The brackets for the shelf on the back patio. Home Depot has those. And one shade tarp, mesh tarp from Harbor Freight for the garden. So those are the 4 things I'm asking them to get. And then as a maybe, I might ask them to grab a Walmart order, which would allow me to get Wendy's duck jerky, some stuff that we can make lunch for the day that they're here. And a couple other things. Oh, the licky mat thing for Wendy to have her peanut butter on. Yeah. So that's all possible this week. Now, I have not talked about Apache County permitting stuff because I was waiting to get a message from that guy coming out. So, okay. Okay. So let's talk about Apache County permitting stuff because this guy asked me, well, I'm saying guy, I think it's a guy. Anyways, asked me in a comment on YouTube yesterday, day before, something, in the last couple of days, asked me some questions about the process I went through. He wondered if it was hard, if it was difficult. if the people were hard to work with. No, 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 no. Did I think it was going to be hard? Yeah. Some of you guys remember, I was scared. I was so scared that they were going to condemn my place and not allow me to live here. It was not like that at all. It was so simple and so easy and so just, I didn't need to waste all that energy being so scared. It was not a problem at all. They already had an aerial view of my cabin and had decided from their aerial view, they showed it to me. They decided, they knew that my cabin was 12 foot by 12 foot. They could tell that my front porch was 6 foot by 12 foot. I think they had it at 7 foot, but it's the overhang of the roof. They had that my back patio was, a shade. They were both, they put them as shade areas, right? So they were only concerned with the cabin itself. They had the shower house. They just said it was an outbuilding. And so when I went in and cried with Linda Prentice, I got the guy's name, that's the inspector guy, cried, was just like, I'm so scared, I'm shaking, I'm worried that I can't afford this and that, I'm gonna be like without a home. And then what am I gonna do? And so they were all trying to calm me down, and I'm like, no, you can't calm me down, you don't understand, this is serious stuff. I can't do this is serious stuff. And then they were like, well, it's not that hard, and you don't have to hire a civil engineer, but we find that a lot of people feel more comfortable hiring a civil engineer. And what he does is he comes out and he inspects it and he says, you do this, 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 and this, and I'll approve it. And then I'll get the paperwork, the documents ready for the county. And then I'll submit those documents to the county for you. And then you just pay me XYZ and it'll be good. So I'll do an inspection. I'll tell you what you need to improve. And then you're not at the scary mercy of the county. I was like, all right. And I was like, well, can I afford you? So when I finally found my civil engineer, and I'm saying finally, wasn't that hard. I asked the county which civil engineers were their favorites, and they gave me a couple of business cards. And I called one. And the guy said, oh, yours sounds so small. He goes, well, I don't have time now, but in like 3 weeks, I'll come out. Okay, great. So he came out and, I'm sweating bullets, walking around with him, trying to tell him everything I did. He said, I need you to dig 3 holes on each side, on the west side and the east side of your cabin's current foundation. I need you to dig them as deep as you can go. He goes, it looks like you've got caliche and you might hit, something solid that you can't dig into. But he said, dig them as deep as you can get them. I'd like them to be 18 inches or more, if it's possible. Then I need you to get sono tubes, which is the cardboard tubes, and I want you to fill those with cement, but they've got to be half under what you've got for a foundation. So you got to dig these under and then put the cement in them. And then while the cement's wet, you got to put these straps down in. And the straps I want you to use are like this. So, after he told me what he wanted, then he left. Well, it wasn't the only conversation we had that day, but anyways, then he left. And I just sent him pictures of the stages as we dug the holes, as we put the cardboard in, as we filled them with cement, as we did the straps. But I sent him pictures. Is it this kind of a strap you want me to use? Yes, that's perfect. Buy those, put those in. But when you go to put them in, put a piece of rebar, short rebar, 2 pieces, through the holes in the bottom, then put them in, pour the cement. Okay, so that's what we did. And then he goes, those straps, I want them this high above the cement. And I want that screwed to your the uprights in the wall. I want them screwed to the frame of the cabin. Okay, no problem. Not screwed, nailed. Anyways, so that's what we did. And it really wasn't that bad. It was probably $300 or $400. And so the civil engineer himself charges by the square foot. And because mine was so small, he only charged me $100. And it took a few weeks. So there was a few weeks of sweating because, there was a holiday, there was something else going on. He coaches volleyball teams, so he had to go away for a couple of volleyball things. And so, he was busy. But anyways, that's how I got that stuff done. Now, prior to him coming, I had applied for and gotten the free permit for the Apache County Pale Privy composting system. I had gotten the permit for it, and the permit, I think I'd had the permit for over a year, but I couldn't find the plastic drums at that time. Well, anyways, finally got them, finally got those made. Didn't know. I was sweating. When am I ever going to get this guy to come inspect these things? But they aren't done right by the paperwork. I would double check the paperwork. I got to get them in the ground. I got to have them in this thing in the shower house the way I want them. They got to be painted right. They got to be. So when I finally called the guy, and he came out, he goes, "You didn't have to do all of that for me to inspect them." I said, "That's what the paperwork said." He goes, "I got to look at that again. That's not what I meant." And I said, "Well, if that's the case, then here, give this information to your new people, because these toilet seat instructions suck. I don't care if I had to buy a $7 toilet seat. By the time I got done with enough stuff to keep a bug out, it cost me about $80 to make that toilet seat not have a fly, and it still doesn't work." And he goes, "Really?" And I showed him, and he goes, "Oh, okay, got it." And I said, "So here's the seats that people should buy. So if you're doing the Pale Privies from Apache County, buy the separate, I can't spell it, SEPERETTE company, toilet seats for outhouses. Either, if you're a guy, you only need the seat part. If you're a girl, you want the urine separator. But they don't really tell you that at Apache County. So I didn't install a urine separator, and during rainy times, I got a sloppy mess. Or when I had a lot of girls visiting and were peeing in there, that it was getting too wet. So do yourself a favor if you're a girl doing that, and just do the urine separator. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be a funnel in the front where your toilet seat is, in the front of the toilet seat, and you drill a hole through the barrel high enough that it's not a problem, and put a hose out or a piece of pipe out down to the ground, put another piece of pipe in the ground, and send it away, and dig a soak away. A soak away, go look at Girl in the Woods. Go look at her system. She used one of those same seats and a soak away. And she did a good job of showing it in a video. So go look at her thing. But Separate sells the urine separator toilet seats. You can have one that looks like it's from a regular toilet. You can have one that looks more like an outhouse and is warm on your butt when it's cold. And it comes with the hose and everything if you want it to. So go check that stuff if you're doing that. And then you just call the guy. He comes out, and in an hour, he's inspected the whole thing, and he was not only inspecting the whole thing and telling me that I passed, and then he's asking me questions about, well, how did you get this done? And how did you get that other thing done? And I was like, well, I just asked the guy. And so the inspector from the health department, his homesteading situation probably is improved by stuff he learned from me, which is fine. That's what it's all about. Share what you can, right? So it's not that scary. It feels scary when you're going through it. But seriously, so yes, I have a dry cabin. That means there is no running water. There is no, I also have no power. That doesn't mean I don't have a portable power bank, because I do. So you have a portable power bank. Wendy wants in. Wait a minute. Wendy, come on, baby. I heard you. I was just busy on the phone. You gotta let Mama do her video. You let me do my video, baby. So, you sighed, you silly little dog. Okay, so, no power. Okay, except I have one shed light in the ceiling that has a cable run outside through the upper roof. That has its own little solar panel out on the roof. Anyway, so I have a battery pack. Well, actually, I have two old battery packs. One of them doesn't work that great, but they hold a lot of power and they work. So one of them is old and little, and there's a solar panel on the shower house that runs that one best. And that one has a 110 plug on it, that I could use for recharging my drill batteries and my batteries for my, little 6-inch chainsaw and stuff like that. And then I have one solar panel on the roof of the patio. Honey, I don't have any more treats. It's all gone. All gone. No more. It's all gone. I know, but it's all gone. I know you liked it, but it's all gone. I don't have any more. She wants more nori. Silly cat. Silly dog. Anyway, so there's a solar panel on the patio, screened porch patio, and the cable runs, down through a window. Okay, when I say through a window, I put a little piece of wood with weather stripping on the top and on the bottom of it. I drilled a couple of holes in the side. The cables come through the holes. The hole that's not being used has a cork in it. And it's sandwiched in the window, in the closed window. That's how the cord comes through to the power bank that's in the house. That one happens to be a 1,000 watt hour. It's a piece of crap, pain in the neck. Every single day you have to plug and unplug the solar panel because it throws error codes once or twice a day. But I have it. It charges the phone. It will recharge all my little rechargeables. Lights, like my Luno lights up here. I love those, by the way. That's Luno company who makes stuff for SUV campers. Those are fairy lights that fold into the bag. So the little battery pack gets recharged on this thing. My phone gets recharged on this. It's technically a frother, but it also has a dough hook and an egg beater. So like if you want a whipped cream or I still can't eat eggs, so I thought I was going to be able to, so that's why I got it. But anyways, I have it. It's rechargeable. It recharges that. It recharges the phone. It recharges lights. Like I have the Bug Zapper orange lights. One of my lights is 7 years old. The other one's probably only 3 years old. I have two of those orange Bug Zapper lights. They're some of my favorites. I have like that little black lantern in the window right there. That's from Bare Bones. Awfully expensive. Not my favorite, but I have two of them. And I found a way to, if you press the button 3 times and then hold it and wait a little bit, it'll make the light less and then it'll flicker quick and it just will be a softer light. They were supposed to be like candles. They don't flicker. They don't, nothing that it said. Plus one of them almost burnt up on me. And so I looked at changing the battery in one of them, and it didn't seem like I was going to be able to easily change the battery. So I talked to the company. They sent me the second one to replace it. And I waited, I don't know, 4 or 5 months before I ever plugged them in and charged them, because one of them had been bad. I mean, it would get so hot when I tried to charge it. And I don't know what happened, but now they both work. So, but that's what I'm saying. Those are rechargeables. My driveway alarms, the receiver recharges, and it blinks a green light all the time. And when it blinks red, it's time to recharge it. So that, I think I've only charged it when I first got it and one more time. So it lasts a long, long time. But those are the only, and my flashlight is rechargeable that Babs got me. Thank you, Babs. I have a little World Band radio that's rechargeable. Right now, I don't use it because it's Christmas time and I can't get away from the Christmas music. And I'm not interested. What else do I have that's rechargeable, Wendy? That's pretty much it. Now I got a new manual. You guys haven't seen this yet. I didn't want to get into all the Amazon stuff, but okay, so I bought a powered rechargeable blender, and I tried to use it and it died and I had to send it back. I mean, died as in it won't charge, it won't do anything. So I kept hunting for a manual one and I found this, and I like the size of it. It is, Beth is going to shoot me because I didn't send her stuff ahead of time. Well, she might not shoot me. But it's this. Oh, wait, my finger's in front of it. It's this box. Cook Plus. Cook Plus. Okay, I can't hold both things. Okay, Cook Plus multi-use slicer set. So it came with lots of parts. The parts fit in a metal box I had that's up on the top shelf. Okay, so it really did come with, it has like mandolin slicer stuff, a juicer with 2 parts, so for little like limes and then for bigger like grapefruits. These are the blades for like the mandolin part for grater blades and stuff like that. Right, because it has its own handle. This is the whipping, like for whipped cream or egg whites or stuff like that, the whipping blade thing. This is the cutter blade, which I've got in mine right now. And then this top part, which is in storage, it's not on mine right now. The top part is a spiralizer. So it'll make zucchini spaghetti and stuff like that, which I used to do when I was raw vegan. Okay, so that's what that is. That's what this is, and it comes with. So I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it. I haven't even used it yet, but so it has the crank handle, but it has a lid for this, and then it has another lid for this, so you could switch when you put a different part on here for spiralizing. You switch the handle over here, and then the cap. Right, the cap closes the part that was open. Anyways, it's part of it, but that's not. So I had it set up for just the food processor part right now, and it has a little pour spout. It's I like the shape of it, and it has suction cups on the bottom so that it won't fall off the countertop. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm looking forward to trying to make a couple of things with that soonish. To go along with my rice and bean things I'm trying to do. So, but it should be nice. Um, that should be real nice. Oh, I found that Wendy will eat carrots and um, celery now. She'll eat the rice and beans. She does not like dog food. I don't blame her, but anyway. So, okay, let's see. Any new comments? I don't see new comments. But so I got that spiralizer. I mean that processor thing. No, I didn't put it in my store yet. I just got it. I don't want to put it in my store until I use it because, like that last rechargeable one, it didn't work. So I need no, it's not in my store yet. I'll put it in, but I want to use it first. So and I okay, sorry. Glitch. Um so yeah, that should be nice for things like, well, tomatoes aren't really in season right now. So when I looked at a tomato in the store and I was thinking about wanting salsa or chimichurri or something like that, I was like, yeah, those tomatoes are nasty. No. Now I could probably make a chimichurri, but having this little food processor will help um, with that because it's part of what I wanted. And if I wanted to make like chicken burgers or something, I could buy chicken and put the meat in there. It says I should be able to, so let me try it before we go too far. So, some things are working good, some things are not working good, but that's okay. I think that I've got to stop using the wheat flour and switch to the tiger nut. That doesn't mean I never would eat the wheat flour, but um, I think trying to make that the main bread in my diet might be a mistake. So, going to back off on that. I have taken down the dehydrated cranberries. They're beautiful. A bag makes a little bit. It's interesting. You think that a bag of cranberries is a lot, but dehydrated, it's less. So, maybe it's a cup and a half dehydrated, something like that. But they're all dehydrated, so those are here. I'm fine. The green beans I haven't put up yet. I need to put them away, and then I'll start doing some more things. I was thinking when I go to the grocery store next, I might buy more apples and dehydrate them while I'm here with the stove running. Those of you who know. If you don't know, go watch something and find out. Um, I really want to get a charcoal stove. I had a charcoal stove once before, and I'm so annoyed that it didn't, I gave it to Randy in Quartzsite. The Randy that like does things to take advantage of people. He was crying about not having a way to cook, and I let him have my stove. And I never should have given it to him because I don't think he ever used it. I don't think he kept it. He talked somebody into buying him big grills and another camper, and I was out my stove. So probably not doing those things much with other people anymore. I mean, I still give things. It's not like that, but I might be a little more picky. Um, but I really want a charcoal stove. Charcoal's inexpensive. Yeah, I got to use it outside. I don't care. But if I could use it on my screened in patio, and the Cobb grill was fantastic for that. It was a little hard to clean. No, not Randy the poet guy. Randy the nut. I'm trying to think what he went by. The one that had his trailer burned down twice from bad solar things. Um, I can't. I can't think of what he goes by. He has a spot down there in Quartzsite at the LTVA, and he's still, yeah, the not good Randy. Anyway, so that was like disappointed that I gave it to somebody to help them out. But now that I'm saying that, I'm disappointed that I couldn't see the problems. I'm not disappointed that I felt led to give it to him. And so I did what I felt led to do. And in that particular case, you do what you're led to do. But I also realize now the charcoal stove is the bomb, and it's inexpensive to run. And I love so I bought a used Cobb grill once, and I paid like maybe $50 for it off of Facebook Marketplace while I was traveling. In pockets in the Southwest, different areas, you can find Cobb grills real cheap, and sometimes they're brand new. I just had to wait until I was in an area where there was one in a price I could afford, and I needed it in the bag so that I didn't have to sleep with the charcoal smell and, whatever. So I bought a used one, and I eventually gave that to Shane. And in fact, Shane still uses it. He's cooked on it a lot. He recently is in a different location and recently contacted me and said, um, I know I didn't want this too much when you first gave it to me, but you sort of said, I just feel like you're the one that's supposed to get it. And because you said that, I went ahead and took it. He goes, I have used this thing so much. And tonight I've got a little campfire in it in the backyard where I'm staying. And I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. So, I mean, the Cobb grills are an incredible, really super well made piece of equipment. I would encourage anybody that has any inclination towards using charcoal because of the expense, one, for their fuel source for cooking, and you don't mind putting it outdoors. The Cobb grill is incredible. The wind does not affect it. So high winds, low winds, rain, sleet, snow, because of the shape of it, because of the way they designed it, and because of the really good materials it's made out of. And it's basically made out of mostly really good heavy duty stainless steel. You're not going to hike with this thing. You just are not. It's a good piece of gear. If I was buying one, I would get the compact. It's a little shorter. And so if you were going to like try to do a rotisserie chicken or something, you would need to buy an extender piece to hold the lid on. The only problem I ran into traveling with it in the tracker was the kit I bought used was so big and it had all the accessories, and the guy had drilled extra holes in something, and it was just too big, and it would have been fine on the screen patio here, but it wasn't fine traveling with it every day in the tracker. So now that I'm here and going through some things, and I've had some glitchy financial, not bad, but like there have been some months when I didn't have access to getting out and buying more stuff, but I could have had charcoal here, and it would have been nice to just go put my stainless steel thermal pot on that, heat the stuff up, then put it in the thermal pot and be done with it. Would have been nice, but to fire up a great big grill or something was just a waste of charcoal, a waste of energy. Plus the fact that if the wind's blowing a lot, it blows the heat right off the grill. So if you're understanding me, the Cobb grill would be good at the cabin. Now, I've been considering whether they're expensive. So maybe I'll just wait until I'm traveling on a trip again and see if I can find one used. Again, if you can find one for about $50, grab it because it's worth it. If you've got the space for it, I'm serious. In a minivan, I would do that in a heartbeat. In a minivan, I can even see where I didn't use it that way, but you could finagle a way to use like a sterno can and use it as your pot stand inside, right? You could use it as the thing to carefully keep like your candle lantern stable inside a van or a minivan or even a good size SUV. I'm not sure exactly whether it would be appropriate for me anymore. But it sure would be cheaper when I want to use charcoal as opposed to using sterno. Sterno's expensive. You can't find it everywhere. You got to have it shipped. You get it shipped, you lose a can or two because it doesn't ship really fabulously. Charcoal, you can find anywhere in the world. And you can make your own. I make charcoal. It's not hard. You put wood in a tin can and punch a hole in the top of it. It makes charcoal. I mean, this is not hard. So I've been revisiting wanting a charcoal stove again because it would be so useful. Now, like I said, the Cobb kitchen, you can bake in it. Cobb grill, okay? You can bake in it. You can cook on it. You can, everything. Anything you want to do, you can do. Rotisserie chickens, roast. There's like a wok pan. It comes with like all the pans you need. You don't need to buy pans. So, but it's pricey unless you can find a used one. So find a used one if you want one. And then the I think having one here at the cabin would be a good idea. So I may be watching for one while I'm traveling when I get to traveling again that I can bring home for the cabin. I thought about just grabbing, there's one charcoal stove on Amazon right now, but I don't know. It's like $60 and it's not protected from the wind as much. So I don't know whether it's worth putting the money into. Um, I'm always trying to make things better, but not have to keep buying things. And my minimalist tendencies are alive and well. So anyway, so that's that. Because I was thinking about, it's not that cold. This has been a mild winter so far. It's not that cold right now. And so I don't even have the stove running right now, and it's 70 inside. Well, you can see I'm in my shirt, Uh, so if I wanted to cook something like a pot of beans, I could put it on charcoal on the patio and in the screened porch, not even worry about it on charcoal. And the thing about the Cobb kitchen or the Cobb grill is so nice is it honestly can run on between 6 and 8 pieces of charcoal. That's cheap. That's inexpensive. Now you can buy their charcoal bricks, which work well, but they cost money. And so regular charcoal you can buy anywhere, and it only takes 6 to 8 in the Cobb grill for it to like actually do a good job of cooking. And because it comes with different grates for setting your pots on, and its own like dishware, because it has like a they call it a fry pan, and then there's a grill pan thing, and then there's a grate, and there's the pan that's like a wok pan. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking about it a lot again. That really would be the way to go, to have the charcoal thing here, and not. So I'm gonna put that on a list for the next time I go on a trip. That I'll be looking for a used Cobb grill. Um, because if I can pick one up for $50 again, why not? Um, because I think brand new, they're closer to $300. And if I could get the Cobb compact, I might actually consider putting it in the tracker with me, because now that I'm thinking about it, I bet I can finagle away to use the sterno and use it as a pot stand. And then my little titanium fold flat stoves for hiking are a different thing. Anyways, it's a thing. So, all right, so that's that. What else do I need to talk about? Because I didn't see the guy that wanted, I didn't see the questions from the guy that wanted all the information on Apache County. I talked about being able to survive cold in vehicles are like tin cans. So just remember that all that metal of the vehicle stays cold, and the floor especially, because if you're in a cold area, the air goes under and around, and so like a refrigerator, hot air rises and cold air sinks, so the cold air stays under. So if you're sleeping on the floor or close to the floor, put something down there to insulate the floor from the cold. So like carpet, rubber mats like you could get from like a Harbor Freight or something. Something like that down first, and then start putting more soft things. And if you can afford it, get a sheepskin. I mean, one of the blessings when I travel in my tracker is that I can fold the back of my front seat. I can fold it backwards. So I can lay most of my body on top of that seat. It's already insulated. It's already fabric. So it's not very cold. Now, my head and shoulders are above the seat. So that part, when I fill in the gap, which is about 5 inches, I'm hoping that the Boxio risers, I just found out you can use the lids on those, but I'm hoping they're sturdy enough that I can use those for storage and to raise that section in the back for my head and shoulders. And then that just gets a little bit of padding and stuff and the pillow. And then basically I use the either the full camp mat, my orange and silver one I showed you earlier, but that slides, so I don't love doing that. But that little camp mat that I put on top of it, the fabric one that has the little rubbery thingies on the back, that should stay put and not slide. So that can go on top of everything. Once I get it the level I want, then put that on and I should be warm enough. I mean, if you can afford it, get a sheepskin and put under your back. What a blessing that would be. Even a fake sheepskin works, but real fur better than fake. But you get my drift. That's how I maneuver the cold in a vehicle. And now that I talk to you about all that thing with the Cobb grill, I need to look that over again because that's a good idea for keeping the candle lantern safe and stable inside a vehicle when you have a pet. So if you're already carrying that, and you could put the candelier inside of it so it won't wiggle around. You wouldn't want to put the dome top on it, though you probably could, because you could open the vents on the top. But you'd always have to have a window cracked. You got to remember that too. Whenever I use a candle in a vehicle, my window's always cracked open anyways. I don't care if it's snowing out. That's why I have those rain guards on my front windows of the Tracker. And I've had rain guards on a lot of my other vehicles. You can leave the window cracked down just a little bit. That's all you need. But so that there's always fresh air coming and going. It helps keep the condensation down and stuff like that. But I gotta think through this whole Cobb grill thing, because if I could use it for multi-purpose and to keep it stable for the candelier to keep heat in the Tracker, now it becomes more important to carry. Because if it could do that to help it be the heat source, now I mean the heat source, this is modifying it to work with the UCO candelier and using it as a stand to keep the animals safe. I'm just thinking, this is an idea I got to work with, because if it is the right thing, that would be easier to carry, because it could be your campfire. It's a good cook system. I mean, serious good cook system. Wait. It's this, right? $1 million. I know nothing. I don't know anything about movies. Yes, I do. Little bit. $1 million. Oh, wait. He did it this way. $1 million. Okay. I'm just thinking okay, that makes it worth it. Now, if I was in a bigger vehicle, I wouldn't even be like having the question. I would have said, in a bigger vehicle, oh yeah, carry one of those. So get one in a bigger vehicle. But now I'm going, all right, I'm going to have to, me and ideas, right? Okay. We've been at this a couple of hours. It's 11:30, so it's been 2 hours. And I'm feeling like I'm done. Do you guys have more questions today? I tried to hit on all the things people had asked me about, because Bernie and I were talking about, she was so surprised that her memory foam mattress became a rock because they freeze. And then that other person wanted to know about the ins and outs of the Apache County permitting, because I have an occupancy permit. My cabin is legal, and I love that my cabin is legal. End of story. Um, it's going to be a blessing. I'll get with Catherine later. It's going to be a blessing this week. If only two things get done this week. If my wheelbarrow is working because it gets a new tire, and if that fence post that the bull messed up gets fixed or repaired enough so I can finish fixing it, those two things will change my everyday life a lot. So if that's all that happens, I'm happy. But it'll be good to get the supplies to finish up a couple other things. Um, so, okay, that's all I got. That's all I got. Somebody asked me a question, and if I don't get asked a question in the next 5 minutes, then we're gonna go. Oh, Joanne Beeks, hey, Joanne and Tyson. You're the. Hi guys, how are you? Oh, are you back in the area? Beth, that's so lovely. Thank you so much for doing that. Joanne came to visit one time. She was in awe of my location. I'm pleased with I'm pleased with my location. But we'll get my personal inflammation will go down. My weight will reset itself. I'm very aware that this will happen. I'm not even questioning that. I am loved. I am I am the great creator's daughter, whatever. I am uh whatever. I'm healed, whether I see it in this lifetime or not. I mean, all of the cells in our body get recreated every few. I don't remember all the exacts, okay? My memory can slip just like anybody else's, but it's like every few months there are whole organs in our bodies that are new organs. And every 7 years we actually have a new body. It's just that we don't see ourselves as a new body or whatever. Once we start seeing ourselves that way, as loved, as blessed, as because in my life, look at what I've been through. Look at the crap, the whatever, right? Look at the stuff that has happened to me, even since some of you have known me. And it's not that I'm not the only one in the world that ever went through some stuff, okay? But at the same time, I am more blessed than it's incredible the amount of blessings I've been given. I'm on what used to be a disability income. Now it's old age because I'm getting older, right? So I'm on an old age income. Look at what I have and what I've been able to accomplish. Many people with the amount of money that I've had are only able to have either an apartment or a car, but they can't have both. And I don't even have both. I own a home with a permit. I own 10 acres of land. It's beautiful here. Is it hard? Oh, yeah. You hear me complain about the hard all the time. But I am so freaking blessed. The people I've met, the things, the blessings y'all bring me every Sunday when we come out. The fact that I'm debt free. I'm I have enough wood to get me through a winter. I have warm, I have water, I mean, it's it's an incredible blessing what I have. Am I disappointed in some stuff? Sure I am, but well, do I get over it? Of course I do. I'm so freaking grateful that I have what I have in spite of some things. My tracker runs. I was so scared that I would ruin the engine if I didn't get the oil leak fixed. Now to have found out that I can't exactly fix it without incurring great cost, which is kind of not worth it at this stage. Even though it's a new engine with less than 2,000 miles on it, the best thing for me to do is check the oil all the time. Keep the oil between the full on the dipstick and the low on the dipstick, and I should not damage the engine. So that's what I'm going to have to do, because I cannot trust the person to fix what they did wrong at the shop that installed the engine. And so we're going to let that go. Let that life be gone. Look at the blessing I have. I still have a vehicle. I have a home with a fully occupancy permitted legal home cabin on. It's very tiny. Ask somebody who visited, right? It's very tiny, but I have this. I'm so blessed. I have Wendy. I have Bobby Kitty. Bobby Kitty's a girl, by the way. But I have them. I'm not completely alone. I have the stuff to stay warm, and I have the knowledge and the skills that I've been given all these years. Come up. Up, up. I have the skills and the knowledge I've been given over the years to take care of myself and do this and live in an off-grid way without running water, without, I still can be clean. I take my baths, okay, a bucket, pan of water, and a washcloth. It's a bath. It works. You don't have to have showers to be clean. I can take care of myself in these situations where a lot of people don't know how. I can repair my health. I know that I am healed and blessed, and that I'm that every 7 years we technically have a whole new body every 7 years. If we can envision that body as healed and as beautiful in whatever way that is, we can let it let the Creator work through us and bless others through us. I, I'm on my soapbox again. So I'm going to work on the consistency with the change in my diet, and I'm probably going to spend the money to get a small camping pressure cooker. And then I'm going to work on this idea with the Cobb kitchen, because if that Cobb kitchen can, I think it can, then I will invest faster in that whole thing. We'll see about that. But I'm just saying, look, guys, I'm blessed. You're blessed. Let's remember that each of us needs the support and encouragement of community. And even though we don't see the community, I have trouble seeing you guys because I see me when I'm talking to you. I use a phone. I see your messages. I have this idea what you look like. I have this idea what I think you guys are, who you are, and what you want, and whatever. But I'm hoping that what I go through helps you to see you. I pray for you guys every week and more. But every time I think about you, I pray about you. And I ask God to give you the desires of your heart and the blessings that you need, and the ability for all of us, including me, to see the great creator's will and movement in our lives. And okay, I got on a soapbox, but let's have a great, great week. Let's start to envision whatever. I'm going through a transition again. Let's envision the transition as the end result being the loved, the, you know, yeah, someday I'll die. Whenever I die, I'll transition into being in the God family in some form. I don't know what that looks like, but it'll be perfect, and there won't be any mess, and I won't have to worry about the inflammation and whatever else. But on my way there, I don't really need to worry about it either. But I do need to consistently do the things that I know to be true for me. And as I find new stuff, try it on, work it long enough for it to make a change, um, and then keep going. So I'm going through a transition, and I'm praying for you guys that you can see whatever transition is going to go on for you at whatever point in a way that is uplifting. And I don't know. I should stop talking because I'm starting to run out of words. Um, but thank you all for being here this week. Thank you for encouraging me, because you come out here on Sundays. It encourages me to have a reason to come out myself. And thank you for that. Thank you for being there. Thank you, Beth, for helping out as my main moderator girl. Thank you, Leanna, for coming to visit. I know she's gone on. She'll see this later. Some other people will watch it on replays. I'll get comments from you guys. Hopefully some of this has helped. The two big subjects were about staying warm in the winter in a camping lifestyle. Now, I want to say one more thing, because for some reason, I keep thinking about Michael. I can't remember his last name, but Michael, the guy who lives most of the year on horseback with his horses as a nomad. He has a winter camp this year. Last year, somehow he got a Mongolian yurt. He'd always lived in teepees for the winter. Anyway, so he's got a winter camp, and it's improved this year. I just want to say, my lifestyle is not much different. The difference I have is I always wanted to get a yurt or a teepee, but I couldn't justify. I need to see out. I need windows. And I couldn't maneuver it. And the cabin came to me. Thank you, great creator, for the cabin, because I've needed it, and it's been here for me, and I'm so blessed to have this. So, okay, so where I'm going is, for some reason, Michael must need some prayers too. So he's not all alone. He's not the only one that lives this different kind of, some people see it as old school lifestyle. My stuff's, it's not normal. It's not like I can go out back or go out. No, wait. It's not like I can just go to the bathroom and flush a toilet and take a shower. Ain't happening. I can't take a shower any day I want it. If it's too cold out or the wind's blowing too much, you get dirty before you get clean. My shower house, yeah, it works to a degree. It It's not perfect, but it's okay. It has a dirt floor. And right now, one of the issues I have with taking a shower in the shower house is if the floor gets wet, it doesn't get dried out before it gets cold. So then it gets icy, but it also calls the mice and the rats to come in. And so, yeah, the cat's out there, but the cat's inside too. So there's a thing. Um, so, all right. I saw one more uppercase Q. It was Iris. We are here to help each other home. In heaven, there's no sorrow, pain, or death, only love. Sending love and prayers to all. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. This is Iris's comment. She did 2 prayer hands and a heart. I don't keep the holidays. But I don't mind that you do you. I just want you guys to know I was reading Iris's message. And yes, you guys live your beliefs. Do you. We love you. Y'all have a good week. See you back here next week. Sundays. Most Sundays, because once in a while I take a break, but most Sundays, 9:30 a.m. Arizona time. You have to adjust that for wherever you live. And if you like this, subscribe, like, all those other things that you can do on YouTube. And maybe there will come a way that we turn this into some money at some point. Because if I would do some actual videos, it might help. But rewatching one of my videos, I realized I got a lot of material that could be pulled. So I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I can do it from a phone. It's not that I'm incapable, because I was quite a techie. So anyways, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. We'll see how I'm making out with the consistency of that change in my diet for next week. Okay, y'all hang in there. Stay blessed. Later. Ciao. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel.